Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studios and the Gurkha Cigar Studios in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Pat Chamberlain.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined once again by my colleague and co-host, Mr. Pat Chamberlain. Pat, how are you?
Doing well, how are you?
I'm pretty good. You know, things have been, things have always, things could always be worse. Is what I was looking for. Sorry, I was a little distracted there. Just trying to get this show up and running. No, everything's good. You know, just having my cigar. Been waiting to have this all day. Just put the little one down. She was a little extra tired today. And now I'm here with all you people. Cigar is excellent. Must be cold over there. You got the hoodie up?
Yeah, it's got a little breeze out here today.
We get back into the colder months. You're going to either have to come back to the studio or you're going to have to build yourself a little heat shack over there. I don't know. Once it gets all cold and snowy again, it's going to be...
Yeah, I'm going to have to evaluate what I should do there. Yeah, because I don't want to freeze my ass off this winter.
Yeah, I know. But it's okay. It's been lonely over here without you, but that's all right. I'm cool with it. Cool with it.
You had Nicole last week, or a week and a half ago.
Yeah, no, that was nice. That was nice. I try to get her to come down as much as I can. But if I forget to tell her I want her to come on, then she won't come on last minute. So I've been forgetting lately, but I've been trying to get her to be on the show more often because I think it's good for everybody. But yeah, no, things are going well. You know, it's Wednesday. It is getting a little crispy out there. So quick. I saw a meme the other day. Was it today actually? And it was like, Boston went from 95 to 55 like it saw a state trooper. And I was like, dude, seriously though. Like the beginning of the week, it was like hot, humid, muggy, and then like today, I'm like, I had a hoodie on coming into work, and it was fucking freezing. I was like, Jesus. But yeah, that was a great analogy, very accurate. Which, by the way, I feel like in Massachusetts, you see a lot of state troopers on the highway. And then once I get over the border into, the Freedom State of New Hampshire, I feel like I don't see a lot of troopers along the highways. Do you notice that? Or do you see more of them? I don't know. I feel like I don't see a lot of them.
I see them. I mean,
I see them, but not like in Massachusetts. Like Massachusetts, they're fucking everywhere. Like I can't drive home without seeing 3 state troopers, like minimum. New Hampshire, I may or may not see one once I cross the border.
Yeah.
It's nice. You know? You don't feel like, just up your ass all the time, like down in Massachusetts. It's wild down there. Sorry, my cigar went out. Especially during rush hour, They like to spread out along all the highways. Just slow people down even more. I'm like, you know what? Do it at nighttime. Do it like when people, are out late driving home, shit faced or whatever. Like that, But like when people are just trying to go home, like don't make the traffic worse. Like, come on. I mean, that's just me. Don't come on. It's like it's already a long ride. Don't slow people down even more, because half the people are gonna go even slower because they see you and they're like, oh no, like I better slow down. It's like we're already going 30, like on the highway. Like how much slower can you go? Anyway, last week we did the soccer giveaway? I think it was.
Yeah, it was last week.
So we'll do another one next week, but we're gonna do the show. Schedule pending. The show is gonna have to be on a different day because Nicole and I are going to the Dominican Republic again. So I am gonna try to do the show maybe earlier in the week before we leave. So I haven't made any final arrangements yet, but we will get to that. Just as a heads up. But we will do another soccer giveaway for August. The one last week was technically the July one. So Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. I love Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Although I saw, I'm very random today. My mind's all over the place. I saw a post that Steve made. He's in California. I think specifically he was in San Francisco. He made a post about how California was like the only state left that's like mandatory enforcing paper straws, and how he didn't like it. And I'm like, it's like this state's going downhill. I'm like, it's been going downhill. Where have you been? It's been downhill. Oh man, California, what a struggle. Yeah, paper straws, man. I could see Pat going on and on about paper straws. That's something I could see you getting fired up about. I hate them. I think they're stupid. I don't really see the point. I know why people want them, because they don't want, like, the turtles in the ocean. Like, look, I get it, but, like, at the same time, what's the trade-off? My straw collapses after 3 sips? Come on. I want to enjoy my beverage. But, California, man. Massachusetts, they get the plastic grocery bag ban. You can only get paper grocery bags.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. Like, I'll go to my parents' house, like when my mom's coming home from like the grocery store. It's got all the paper bags, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. That's a thing here. They don't like plastic bags are like illegal in Massachusetts. It's like, okay, that's a thing. I like my plastic market basket bags. I do. They're more convenient to carry. I can carry like 10 bags at once. God. Anyway, whatever. Couple of interesting things that I saw come across my desk in the news sphere this week, and I'll get to those in a minute. But first, let's talk about some of the people who helped make this show happen. That's right, featuring our friends at the number2guyscigars.com. That's right, the number2guyscigars.com. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars and accessories from brands you know and love, and maybe a few new ones that you haven't quite discovered yet, and you should try them, because you should always try something new. Head over there today and place an order, the number2guyscigars.com. Pat, what are you smoking with us tonight?
I am smoking the Rocky Patel 30. It is shipping. I think it's on a shipping container right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nish was with us at one of our events that Twins puts on last week, so said it was on a shipping container held back, but they should be heading to shops fairly soon. So,
What do you think? Is that your first one?
I've had it a couple times now.
What did you think of it?
Good. I like it. It's definitely different. It has like that familiar San Andreas sweetness that Rocky uses in most of his cigars, but it has like an extra kind of like savory spice that you don't really see in many of his blends. It's kind of like the age limit rare if you mashed it with like the DBS.
Okay. Could see that. I mean, I've smoked it once, I think now. Honestly, I can't even remember. I think I've smoked it once. Maybe in this one. It depends on. I remember I thought I didn't have any, and then I did find some, and I was like, oh shit, I do have some, but then I can't remember if I actually smoked it. I thought I did. Maybe I did. I don't know. I thought I did. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway. Yeah, the Rocky releases have been solid the last couple years, for the most part, just about all of them. So I have high hopes for this one too. He's been on a hot streak, so, which is good. I mean, it's what you want to be on, when you get to 30 years, right? You want to be pumping out good cigar after good cigar after good cigar. I myself, I'm smoking something that's not so new. It's the My Father Connecticut edition from My Father Cigars, our Factory of the Year, 2-time Factory of the Year, My Father Cigars SA, which is great. This is a fantastic. I had a handful of these. I've been smoking them lately, and they've been burning fantastic. So I am enjoying one of these. And we have a few comments in the comments section before I get to the Dupont segment. Just got off the phone with my Vermont family, and they said it was almost sweater weather. Oh my God, sweater weather. Oh my God, sweater weather. Here in Florida, I almost burst into flames walking to my truck after work. Yeah, New England's a very, very interesting weather area, as we've talked about many times. I mean, you could go into work in the morning one day and it could be freezing. By the time you leave, you're soaking wet with heat and humidity. You could have one day where it's like 30, and then 2 days later it's like 71. It's wild. That's about right. I mean, we're in the dog days of the summer here, so it's starting to like crisp up. There's still some heat. Like I think we got a 95 day coming up soon again, but like at the same time we're starting to get on our not so hot days, it's cold. So it's either hot or it's cold. There's really no middle ground now. And then as we get through September, it'll drop. And then we'll get our first frost like September 28th. And then after that, it's like, haha, just kidding. And it'll be hot again for like a week. And then we get into like middle of October, and then it just goes. Yeah. I'm so over it, but whatever. D Green, watching Florida, always great shows. Oh, thank you, D Green. I just bought an Opus X Angel Share sampler. I have never had one. Have either of you? Thanks. Yes, we've had, between the two of us, we've probably smoked a lot of Angel Share. It's great. It's a good blend. It's obviously one of the more milder Opus X blends. It happens to be Nicole's favorite, I believe, of all the Opus X is the Angel Share. She always keeps a box on hand. Pat, I know you smoke a lot of Opus, but do you smoke a lot of Angel Share, or is it too mild for you?
No, I smoke it. It's a good morning. I mean, it still has a little spice to it. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mild compared, right? But it has kind of like a Cabernet sweetness. It's a good blend. Yeah, I like it a lot. It comes out a little more scarcely than the core line, but when you get your hands on it, it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. It's not as accessible, but it's not like super super rare compared to some of the other stuff. Um, so yeah, definitely if you see it, if you can find it, if you get your hands on it, take it. It's definitely good stuff. And as always, cutting and lighting our cigars. You're welcome, D Green. We appreciate you tuning into the show, being a loyal subscriber and supporter of the show. SD Dupont, shake up the legacy with SD Dupont, featuring the new Fender collection. That's right. This is the 2024 Smokin Tabacco Accessory of the Year. The Biggie lighter featuring that giant flat flame, and the awesome black Fender guitar designs. There's also a cutter and several other lighter models. I believe it comes in the Slimmy, which Pat has it. I believe it comes in a line 2. And I can't remember if there's a Legrand, but I'm pretty sure there's a line 2. The cutter, and I think a Slim 7. I think it comes in, and and I'm pretty sure a regular Maxi Jet. I almost positive. Usually they always do a Maxi Jet with a collection. But anyway, it's a nice collection. It's a cool collection, and it's not the first time they've worked with Fender, but it's a pretty impressive collection this time around. So ask your local retailer for SD Dupont products, specifically the new Fender collection, especially if you're into that kind of thing. And shake up the legacy with us. All right, Pat, let's get into our show here. I'm very excited. Sorry, I opened my email and I had a bunch of stuff ready, but then like a bunch of junk, got in there. So speaking of California, there was something I saw here that I wanted to bring up. Where is it? Oh yeah, right here. So speaking of California, and I don't know how much of this you've read into, so I don't know how deep into this topic we can go, but I figured I'd bring it up. The Cigar Rights of America files a comment on the California UTL emergency proposal. So if you haven't heard about this and you live in California, you should pay attention to what your local state government is getting into once again for shenanigans. Today, Cigar Rights of America formally filed its public comment in opposition to the California Attorney General's proposed emergency regulations to implement California's unflavored tobacco list. The proposed regulations, as written, would impose tremendous filing burdens and excessive fees on the premium cigar industry. The law explicitly exempts premium cigars. But the regulations proposed by the Attorney General's office would unnecessarily cover many premium cigars sold in the state. Quote, the intended purpose of the UTL is to remove flavored tobacco products from the California marketplace. By definition, premium cigars do not contain characterizing flavors. This is not only an accepted fact within the industry, but one recognized by the United States Food and Drug Administration and in federal courts, said Mike Copperman of the Cigar Rights of America. Subjecting non-flavored premium cigar products to this arbitrary framework and requiring them to prove they are unflavored, despite by definition being unflavored, will only harm the small business premium cigar industry that does not have an issue with youth usage, which is the very issue the law was designed to solve. In our comments, CRA highlighted key objections to the proposed regulations. The arbitrary price threshold. The proposed regulations use a $12 wholesale price to define a premium cigar. I kind of don't want to go through this whole thing, but essentially, it's another way that a state government, no surprise that it's California, trying to say that they're kind of going after one thing, but the reality is they're going after all of it. They're just trying to pretend like, no, they want to take it all away, and it's, this is why you gotta sign the petitions and go to cigarrights.org and premiumcigars.org. All those are Premium Cigar Association, Cigar Rights of America. Sign up, be a part of it, be a member. Pay the $30 a year to help support the industry because of stuff like this. And it's no secret. I mean, everyone's going to keep trying to come after premium cigars in the cigar industry and regulate or take things away, or God forbid the generational banning, which down in Massachusetts, our friends to the south, if you can call them that, they got a few towns. They got a few towns already that have pushed that through. A couple that didn't pass, but there's a couple that did get it in. And it's sad because I hope it's not a sign of what's to come and become more mainstream in the future. But it's wild. It really is. It's crazy. So yeah, pay attention if you're in California, because once again, they're coming after you. It's wild. Just leave California. You know what I mean? Like, just leave. Get out while you still can. I could never live there. Oh God. I don't know how people do. Also, I wanted to talk about, sorry, where did that message go? There was something else. Hold on. My bad. Hold on a second. Where did that go? I had something all lined up. I somehow lost that email. I don't know where it went. That is wild. Okay, never mind. Alright, never mind. I'll move on to the next thing unless I find it. Maybe it got deleted.
I can comment on the California.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Maybe I can find that because I had like a thing that I was going to read off.
Yeah, I didn't read into it. But it kind of goes to what we talked about probably at the beginning of the year after the news came out from the federal level. And, I mean, there's going to be a lot of states that are regular. Because, again, like states can like the federal government's the floor, and then the state can set, or I guess rather you can use the federal government's the ceiling, and the state can be the floor. So if they want to regulate heavier than the feds, as long as it's not passing that constitutional barrier, then they can. So if the states want to regulate tobacco more harshly than, and we see this with marijuana, right? Like it's federally illegal, but then there's states that have, or it's federally legal now, and then there's states that still
Is
have it
it?
illegal. New Hampshire, is it federally? I think it isn't it.
You-
It's more.
you- You're
I might have
you're the lawyer. You tell me. I
I
don't.
was
Last I checked,
so
it still
I don't
was.
know.
Last I checked, it was
So
still
it's
a
not. All
schedule.
right, let me
Schedule.
amend that. Like,
Is it a Schedule 1 substance, and they're
no,
trying to make it a Schedule 3?
no. So federal, it's still illegal federally, but then there's states that it's legal for like medicinal purposes. There's different exemptions. New Hampshire not being one of those states. So
Half the
like
states,
states,
it's full recreational use. You can go to Massachusetts, go into a dispensary, you can buy whatever you want.
yeah. So states can regulate more harshly or leniently than the feds. It just can't be unconstitutional. So I mean, we talked about after, just amongst the federal things, like what comes next, and then like Brookline, Massachusetts was brought up with the generational smoking bans. I mean, states, the big, I mean, obviously the federal fight's a big fight because that's kind of like the main stage, you can call it, but the more evasive fights are the state fights because when it comes to like resource allotment and making sure you're up to speed with all the municipalities and then like the state themselves. It's a lot of resources, and frankly, like the trade groups we have in this industry are busy, and it's tough to kind of have boots on the ground in all those situations. And one of the things that I would critique the California state government for doing is setting a price requirement for regulation. And again, that's because the thought would be, minors can't afford more than $12. Like they're not going to spend more than $12 for this product. So, that can have its own exemption under the premium industry, which, as we know, I mean, well, I think jewels and everything are like stupidly expensive. I could be wrong on that. I don't vape.
I used to buy,
think
I used to buy
oh,
the jewel pods for a guy at work. Cause in New Hampshire, we still have the flavored stuff. So I would have people at work be like, "Hey, can you get me the menthol jewel pods, tonight and bring them in?" So, and I think I was paying the store at the end, the store at the end of the street. They come in like packs of 4, and I want to say, yeah, they were expensive because like I'd get him like 3 packs. I'd get him like 3 or 4 packs of whack, and it was between like 80 and $90 for those 4 packs. I
yeah.
mean,
So I mean, it's a lot. So that whole like minors won't pay for whatever dollar amount is kind of a
they're buying
inaccurate.
jewel pods.
Yeah, and then I mean, and you run into it's tough because like
They're buying weed.
especially in California, like I mean, flavored tobacco is premium as well. Like I mean, obviously everyone debates on what premium is, what it isn't. I mean, the preferred definition would encompass like your Drew Estate cigars, right? I mean, that would be the preferred definition. Obviously, that's tough to do because the characterizing flavors is the main component that separates like your traditional premium tobacco from your flavored premium tobacco. And that's also why pipe tobacco, by the way, is kind of in its own awkward purgatory. Frankly, I think that there's not enough of a pipe tobacco consumer to where the federal government's even like worried about it. It's kind of like the Wild West when it comes to pipe regulations. But I mean, they are regulated, but it's not really being touched as much as the premium tobacco, like the cigar industry is.
Right.
And it's I think that the battle is going to be like with the flavored tobacco, with the state. That's going to be the first thing that we see get attacked pretty hard. And I know like one of the things I think Josh said, I think it was in the 23 trade show, or he might have said it on this podcast. He said it at some point in the past, and I've heard it from numerous other people in other industries where like regulation starts overseas typically, And I mean, we've talked on the show in the past about like smoking bans in restaurants and just different um, things that we've seen be regulated in the past. And right now, like Europe is making a big push to censor tobacco, and it's to the point now where like it's in Canada. I mean, we've talked about Canada. They have like those kind of ugly green um, brandless labels that are covering the entire cigar. They come in like
Oh, yeah.
green tubes, and frankly, at this point now, I believe that, and I had a good conversation with Jeremiah Marifel about this when he was at Twins. The What Europe is kind of moving to now with a business model is having that plain packaging, but not even having it on the shelf. Like you have to go into the shop and ask the clerk for what you're looking. I guess you can kind of think of it like how cigarettes are when you go to a grocery store, right? They're in its own like, you used to get them on a regular shelf, but now you have to go to that special checkout area that has all the cartons, and then you have to ask that clerk to hand you the carton of whatever the cigarette is. So that's kind of how Europe is moving to where it's plain packaging, and you have to ask for it. And frankly, it's almost like it's fueled by big tobacco, which is because when you go in and there's no branding and it's all plain packaging, like you're gonna ask for the stuff that so like maybe the cigarette people are thinking they're gonna go in and get like a pack of Marlboros instead of getting like a Fuente Petit Corona. So it's kind of and that's just conspiracizing, when it comes to like big tobacco. But point is like that plain packaging and not even marketing on the shelf is where Europe is heading. And based on the historic trends of regulation, especially with this industry, we typically see Europe impacted by the next slew of regulations before us. And I think that's a very likely threat coming down the pipeline, because flavored tobacco was attacked in Europe, I'd say like not too long ago, but it was one of the big topics there. Juuling, unfortunately, juuling is getting lumped with our industry of flavored tobacco because of how much of a issue juuling is,
Right.
vaping, whatever the term is for it now. So
Vapes.
I think that's going to be a big issue that this industry deals with in the States coming up soon, is plain packaging. Seeing how our border over Canada is doing it, and now overseas Europe's implementing it. So I think we're going to start seeing plain packaging. And it was already, by the way, like a discussion. I mean, when we talk about the warning labels on the boxes, I mean, that was probably like, I don't want to say that was 5 years ago. Maybe it was a little more recent than 5 years ago that the industry had a win when it comes to the smoking, like the non, like the like the different, like those eight
Yeah, the
different,
warning labels on the boxes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Even
like the
though
brands.
some companies still put like a little like, oh, warning,
Yeah.
smoking causes. And
Well,
I'm
it goes
like,
to mass produced. Like for instance, like I go back to the state thing. States can regulate more than the feds can if they choose to, as long as it's constitutional. And I mean, look at like I'll use Drew Estate because they use that label on literally everything. If you get swag, like if you the Freestyle Live, if you get like they have like a mug that they gave out this round. The mug has a little thing in it that says like smoking can cause X, Y, and Z. And
is it like
again, if
is it like a slip inside a box, or is it like a part of the
yeah,
mug?
it's a slip. It's a slip.
So you
Yeah.
don't have to, yeah, you can throw it away. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah,
gotten that stuff too. Like on like when they sent out like the backpacks and the bags, and like they have like the
yeah. There's a little
tag.
tag on it. You just
Cut the
pull it off.
tag right off, and I throw it away because I'm like, no one needs to see that
But they
bullshit.
do that because in California, you have to have it in California. So I
Oh,
mean,
of course you
someone like
do.
Blue State that's mass producing stuff
In communist
in the
California.
quantities. Yeah, so Drew Estate and other companies just put it on everything because, they, frankly, I don't want to say they don't care that they have to do it, but it's it's easier than just having like, all right, you go to the factory, they're putting these stickers on, and you're like, all right, these 30 boxes are going to New Hampshire. Don't put this sticker on, but like these 50 boxes, put these random stickers on because
It's
these
going to
ones are going to
California.
California. So I guess it's probably more cost effective to just do it on everything, right? But
Right.
yeah, so more of the story. I mean, so there was a win when it comes to packaging recently, and that was more of like there wasn't any research to back up, and there was actually research to the contrary that these warning labels tend to encourage youth to buy, and I think that study came from Europe. But when it comes to censoring packaging, I mean, that would be an interesting battle down the road. I think the smoking warning labels would be favorable for an argument, but I do think that there's going to be some attempt at um, censoring packaging in the States.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I think that's why, like, so I've thought about, like, oh, can you imagine buying a box or whatever and you got that stupid, ugly sticker on there? But then I'm like, oh, imagine, like, certain, like, some of, like, the really high-end, like, dressy boxes. And it's like, yeah, I think that might be, like, a small piece of the reason why a lot of those boxes come in, like, the velvet bag with the cardboard outer box. Because you can put the sticker on the cardboard box and you throw it away. And then when, you take it home and open it, then you can just have the dress box with no sticker on it. And you notice that with, like, on the Behike boxes, right? Because, I mean, that's not sold here, but in Europe where they are sold, the Behike boxes, for example, or like the other, like, limited edition Habanos products, they come in the box with the velvet bag. Well, they got the warning, the black and white label, and it's like huge right across the top. And it goes on the outside of the outer cardboard box that you throw away. And it sits on the shelf, so it's like got the sticker on it. But then you open it up, you throw it away, and then you got your dress box stickerless, which is kind of nice. Obviously, not everybody gets to have that luxury because not every box is double box like that. But at least with like those fancy boxes, you don't have to worry about peeling that stupid fucking sticker off. So you can put your nice, glossy, shiny box on display in your humidor without having that stupid label on there that essentially does nothing, if you ask me. At the end of the day, like, people, what it is there's one group that does it. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to get everyone all fired up. But there's one group that's for it, and there's another group that's not. And that group likes to do stupid things because they think it's going to be effective. The reality is, at the end of the day, if somebody wants something, they're going to buy it. They're going to go get it, regardless if you put a stupid little fucking sticker on the box or not. You know what I mean? It's like, so instead of wasting everyone's time and aggravation, just leave people alone. That's always been my standpoint. There's a lot of things that happen, especially in today's world, where it's just kind of like, people like to go after other people for things that they enjoy. And it's like, or just like, when people comment, or people have to like go out of their way to let you know, like, I don't like that you do that. It's like, just mind your own business. Just mind your own business. Why do you feel the need to get into, like, if you don't like something, fine. I do. Like, I read a thing, it was like in Massachusetts, they're considering opening up public consumption places so people can go and like smoke weed at like I'm like, all right, so you're telling me that you're going to allow places to open up a marijuana shop like they have in Amsterdam, right? So you're gonna, like, there's gonna be like permits or whatever, so people can go in to like a marijuana shop and they can like pick the flower they want or the edibles they want, and they can, they like this fucking Summer Lights bullshit, and then they can buy it and they can go sit down and roll it up and light it up and fucking and smoke it and like hang out for, like, okay, well then why can't we have cigar lounges? It's like the same thing. It's a designated place. If you don't like it, if you don't want to bring around smoke, you don't have to go there. It's not like I'm at a movie theater just puffing away. I'm in a designated area, minding my own business. Oh no, we can't have any more cigar lounges in the city of Boston. Oh, but we're thinking about having a pot shop where we can go in and smoke weed. It's like, just like, leave people alone. Like, live and let live. You know what I mean? That's my biggest thing, especially nowadays. I know there's people who will disagree, but there's even more people who will agree. People just don't mind their own fucking business anymore, Or like these politicians, they go after shit that like somehow benefits them in some other way, and it's just like, you know, what happened to the time when like people could just do what they wanted, and if you didn't like that, that's okay. You just don't do it. Like, you know, why do we have to like obsess over like other communities and groups and social circles of interest that people have, and be like, we got to take this away because I don't like it? It's like, blow it out your ass. Like, just don't do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to wear hemp clothes and go to Whole Foods and buy completely organic fruits and vegetables because like I have better things to do with my life than to, you know, pretend that I'm some sort of, you know, mystical creature that lives off the land. I just live a regular life, but that's cool. Like if that's how you want to live, that's cool. That's great. Go, you know, with your Birkenstocks down to Whole Foods and buy your fucking organic tomatoes for $12 a piece. I don't care. If that's what you want to do, great. But I'm not going to make people stop you from doing it. You know what I mean? So leave my shit alone.
It's
So,
easy to attack the minority, and unfortunately, I mean, as it's well established at this point, the minority is, especially premium tobacco, because I mean, cigarettes have. I mean, you just look at the history of advertisement and like the lack of knowledge of what cigarettes do. Like the cigarette industry really just had like a really horrible reign, right? Like it was complete false advertisement. It was hooking people. So cigarettes gave tobacco a really bad name, and your average person doesn't know the difference between a cigarette and a cigar. That's just the reality of it.
I
No
know.
one's looking.
I tell people all the time. I'm like, you gotta understand something. Like, I hear people going, "Oh, they get you the nicotine in the cigarettes." I'm like, it's not the nicotine that kills you. And they look at me like, I go, it's not the nicotine that kills you. In addition to the tar and the ash that you breathe into your lungs, that builds up because that's a thing. Cigarettes and the tobacco that's in them is highly processed in such a way where it's like the chicken nuggets at McDonald's. Like that is not fresh chicken breast. This is like fresh chicken breast. You cut into it, it's whole chicken breast. You know what I'm saying? Cigarettes are like the McDonald's chicken nuggets. It's not even like real chicken. It's what it is for those. I mean, it's essentially like the shit from chickens, not like the actual like turd, but like it's all of like the cartilage and like all the other shit, and they grind it all down and they boil it and they make it into a paste, and then they add chemicals to it, tons of chemicals, for flavor and for preservatives and for nuance and all that bullshit. That's what a cigarette is. And that's what the tobacco that's in cigarettes is. It's highly processed, highly chemicalized, and that's what hooks you on it. It's not necessarily the nicotine. There's tons of nicotine in this. And yet I don't feel like, I gotta have a cigar, man. Like, I'm gonna fucking, like, oh, I gotta have a cigar. Like, no, I don't have that. And no one does because
And that's the thing that I think that's frustrating me the most. And I don't know. I'm not really in tune with the current arguments the industry's pushing at the federal level or even like the state levels. But one of the things that I've always kind of pondered is, I mean, again, like I was talking about the minority. The majority of people nowadays are
don't
pro
smoke.
marijuana, as we've seen. Like I mean, New Hampshire. It's every year. There's always a push to legalize marijuana in New Hampshire because it's all of our bordering states have it legalized.
Right.
So there's a big push, but it's funny because when you get in a debate with somebody who smokes marijuana, it's it's almost like you're arguing with a premium tobacco smoker against cigarettes. It's like, well, you're smoking stuff, you're inhaling it in your lungs. Like, how is it different? They're like, oh, it's all natural stuff. It's like, this is the fucking the Korea variety genetic strain of this marijuana, and it's argued how natural it is, which
Well,
I'm
you
not.
also don't inhale cigars, or if you're not really
And you
supposed to.
don't, but and you inhale marijuana. That's how you ingest it,
Hmm.
right? But it's you get that whole like it's natural argument when you talk to someone that's buying marijuana, and it's the same argument that we make. It's just everyone. Well, I won't say everyone, but a lot of people like prefer marijuana, and
Well, the
they
difference
smoke.
is that actually fucks you up, and this doesn't.
Well, that's the
So-
thing too, and I have this whole like thing about. I mean, you can talk about like my job and everything. Like, accepting marijuana, people don't treat it like it's alcohol, and I think there's going to be a lot of issues down the road with it's not regulated. It's marijuana. I think is I know people like it. I'll probably get some hate for this, but I think marijuana is handled so shit in this. I think there's going to be issues with it down the road.
Well, I
I
think
mean,
that what the issue with it is it's starting to become more accepted, right? Which I'm not really against, like, but and that's fine, like whatever. But I think to your point, you're right. But the thing is it's so new. It's also state to state, so there's no federal, you know, encapsulation of the entire industry. It's all just kind of like each state kind of does what they want. It's so new that it is kind of like the Wild West right now. But I think as time goes on and as it continues to expand and things happen, like you used to be able to crack a beer and drive to work. That was a thing at one point in time. That was not an illegal offense. Now it is because of drunk driving. Well, marijuana will have its day too. Eventually, it's not it's just part of society. Like enough problems will arise from it when they're like, all right, we're gonna do something about this now, because that's when things go happen. People do things after they're reactive, not proactive. So right now things are great. Sometimes people get pulled over driving stoned, and you know okay, but when more and more people are doing it and it gets more out of control, then it's like, oh, okay, and that's when more kids are doing it and like it becomes a problem, like that's when, yeah, it will be. But you're right. Right now, it's not. You're right. You're 100% right. It's just kind of like, hey, it's out there. Like, okay.
and by the way, like I'll even say like one of the things with when it comes, if you go to an Applebee's and stuff, and smoking got banned when you go to like I get it. I think it should be up to the restaurants, but stuff like that, to an extent, I can kind of whatever. But people that are attacking like cigar lounges, like Massachusetts, who voice, oh, well, people are sitting in rooms of smoke, and it's the surrounding businesses are being plagued with smoke. It's a nuisance. Da, da, da. The thing about this marijuana lounge type thing that you mentioned, I haven't seen anything about that, but I wouldn't be shocked about Massachusetts. Is like you're basically, you're arguing, saying that it's a nuisance having the smoke. It's essentially a public nuisance with the smoke in the air. It's like polluting the air, and it's not healthy being inside of a lounge. Even if there's an HVAC, it's still because you're smoking inside. But then you'll accept a place where you can smoke a substance that can be intoxicating through secondhand smoke. Like, and people can be. It's like, again, it goes back to it's the majority, not the minority. So I mean, being in a room with people smoking joints is the same thing as, well, for one, the effects of smoke is the same thing. If you're gonna hotbox yourself with smoke, except it with marijuana, like you actually get intoxicated from that. So
Yeah, it's true.
it's, whereas tobacco, I mean, you might get a little sick. I mean, that's why you have good HVAC and you have all the shit get sucked out. But marijuana, like, you get intoxicated doing that. So, but it's acceptable if it's marijuana, because most people, your common person prefers marijuana and they favor it, whereas they think tobacco is like this gross kind of disgusting thing people do for 5 minutes between their work shifts, right? So it's, it'd be interesting to see where it goes. I think that there's going to be a lot of issues with marijuana down the road in this country, but I mean, it's yet to be seen.
Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell for sure. Hey, anyway, let's pivot really quick. Let's go to our trivia segment, once again, which is brought to you by Perdomo Cigars, featuring our 2024 cigar of the year, the Perdomo 30th anniversary sun-grown Epicure. Well, that's a lot to say, but it's worth it because it is a great cigar. All three of them are: the Connecticut, the sun-grown, and the Maduro, all fantastic. And now, coming to the table, the Perdomo Legacy, featuring the new Nicaraguan shade-grown tobacco. Grown by the Perdomo family in Nicaragua. Um, Possibly, I hate doing teasers, but that cigar keeps performing well. So might see it at the end of the year somewhere. I don't know. But there's also a lot of good competition, so we'll see. Anyway, Perdomo cigars, quality, tradition, excellence. Um, all right, Pat, what's the theme this week? Or is it just is it random?
Um,
There's usually a theme, so
I think it's gonna be a little random here.
that's okay. I'm up for whatever.
So the first one is what is the only continent without an active volcano?
Antarctica.
No.
Really? Which continent without an active volcano? Pretty sure. Wait, active, not volcanoes in general, just not one that's active.
Active volcano.
Is it Australia?
It is Australia.
I was gonna say that it was either Antarctica or Australia, because like I had to double check, but I'm like, yeah, no, 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 yeah, 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 Australia. Really? That's an interesting one. Okay, all right, get behind that.
All right. What is the first fully CGI featured film?
The first fully CGI.
First fully CGI.
Oh Jesus. Can you give me a range of like time, or is that giving it away?
I don't think it's giving it away, but if you follow, I mean, you could probably guess what company like did it.
Well, because there's
If
a
you know that, if you can think of the company that did the first, like who you would think would do the first fully CGI movie, you can kind of follow.
Disney.
Yeah, so you can follow the string of
Well,
movies that have, you know.
there's a Disney movie that comes to mind, but based on the year that I'm pretty sure it came out, I feel like I don't know why. I feel like it's not the right answer, but my mind is telling me to say this. And it came out in the early 80s, which I'm also like that's got to be too late. But fully CGI, cuz I feel like I read this recently, although I could have been remembering it wrong. I want to say it was the first Tron movie.
No,
Yeah, I don't know why. I knew it was wrong, but I felt like I had to say it anyway. I don't know why.
it's a pretty
Although,
mainstream movie. I'd say like everyone probably knows, and there's more than one of these movies. There's a handful of them. There might be five now, to be honest. I think it's arguably one of the most popular Disney movies.
my mind is going blank right now. Not animated, like live action, but
CGI.
CGI. Yeah.
CGI.
I feel like as soon as you say it, I'm gonna be like, oh, of course. Well, and the reason why
If
I
you
kept
guess the
saying
top three Disney movies of all time, you probably guess it. I mean, it's one of the best franchise of movies Disney's
didn't we
ever
do
done.
something similar to this recently?
I think that was the first animated, I want to say, but
Yeah, we did it first. We did like animated. This is CGI. And again, did you tell me? Did you give me like a rough time frame of when it came out?
I actually don't know when the first movie came out. I want to say it was probably 2000s. Like I'm talking like 2000, like on the
Really?
dot, a little after. Hmm?
Really?
I could be wrong. I mean, let me look up the date that this movie came out. So I can
Yeah,
give.
because the reason why I
I,
said Tron was because I
I,
watched one of the Tron movies recently, and I remember reading something about it. It was like one of the first like movies that like
Sorry,
used.
1995 when it came out.
1995.
I mean, it just say like
Well, I don't
think
know
of
because there's so many
think of
popular.
Disney movies.
I don't even know
Think
where to
of Disney
begin.
movies that Pixar did that have more than one movie, like
Well,
in a
Pixar is
series.
animated though. So like that's where it gets
It's
kind of confusing because it's CGI, but CGI
CGI.
also could be animation. So animation, I mean, like Toy Story was
It's
95.
Toy Story.
Yeah, but see when you say CGI, I'm thinking like live action with CGI, and then there's animated, which is like a different realm. So
I think like I thought Toy Story was like CGI.
what's animation?
Well, I think
Wow,
it's it used
this could be a whole
CGI.
debate. This could be a whole debate right here. See, when I think of Toy Story, I just think animation. Like, yes, there's computer generation, but I don't know. I think for me, it's like there's computer generation and then there's animation, which I guess both are computer generated, but I feel like you call animation animation, and then there's like Star Wars and Tron, where it's like it's live action, but it's a lot of computer generated live action look. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know what I'm trying to get at least? I think that's where I was getting confused. Because I'm thinking, like, all right, CGI, not animation. Because obviously,
Yeah,
like, yeah,
you were just thinking wrong.
yeah. I was trying to, like, compartmentalize, I think.
I have
All right,
a.
what's next?
This is a good one, and I probably wouldn't get this one right because it requires a lot of thinking. But it's one of those. It's
Aren't
one of
you a
those
lawyer?
random.
Isn't that what you do?
Well, yeah, not this kind of thinking. What is the only letter not used in any U.S. state name?
Oh, I remember like doing this like elsewhere previously. Which letter?
I see the letter. Obviously I know the answer, and seeing it, I can say, "Oh yeah, no shit." But if I didn't see the answer, I probably would be thinking,
I'm like trying to run through them in my mind really quick because I'm pretty sure I know what the answer is. I'm just like making sure before I'm like, yeah, it's definitely this, and it's like no, and I'm like, oh, but it's Z, right?
"No."
Which state has a Z in it? You meaning the first letter or like just at all?
Any any letter,
Any letter in the name.
this
Which
letter
state?
is not in any of the
Which state has a Z in the name?
Arizona.
Oh fuck yeah, that's right. Damn. X is in Texas. Like, oh, is it Q?
It's cute.
Yeah, I knew it had to be one of like I forgot about Arizona, so I'm like, yeah, it's got to be Q. Yeah. Oh damn. Damn it, Arizona. Fuck. See, I told you. That's the part about the trivia that I hate is that you think like, oh, I know this, and you say it with such confidence, and it's like, no, and I'm like, I just feel dumb.
It's a tough question. If someone asked me that question, I'd be like, "Oh, that's a good one." You know, you try to think,
Yeah.
and then you forget states because you're thinking about them too hard, and then you're like, "Shit," and then you say something dumb. Like I would have probably said N, and I live in New Hampshire. You know, like
No, I could no. It ends too easy. There's too many news. New York, New Hampshire, Nebraska, North Dakota. Yeah, there's too many N's. Z almost got me, but I forgot about Arizona. And I knew I knew it couldn't be X because X is like not a common one. But you think of Texas, I mean, right away that's out. So yeah, Q. That's true. Oh man, that was good. That was good. Well, anyway, let's do our news really quick. Our news once again brought to you by Micallef Cigars, featuring the new color series from Micallef Cigars: black, blue, red, purple. The white, I believe we talked about the last couple of shows, is now out there, but I don't think it's fully launched. And it sounds like they're just going to keep on rolling with the colors, which I think it's the best thing Micallef ever did, to be honest with you. Um, there was a couple different things, but most notably, I'll do this for our friends at JC Newman and at United Cigar. Um, the El Baton Cameroon limited edition firecracker is now beginning to ship to United accounts. We saw what was the first one? Was it the Micallef Black firecracker that came out first? I think it was Micallef Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the most recent firecracker, I want to say.
Yeah,
Or
that
just
was that was the one that came out for 4th of July.
Oh, yeah. Like before, like the most recent release, yeah.
Correct. But heading to stores, the El Baton Cameroon limited edition firecracker. United Cigar and JC Newman El Baton Cameroon firecracker collaboration will begin shipping to retailers at the end of the month. The partnership marks the first time JC Newman Cigar Co. has created a firecracker, all in honor of the 60th anniversary of Stanford J. Newman's discovery of Cameroon tobacco. The El Baton Cameroon firecracker will feature the El Baton band and pay tribute to the rich history and distinctive flavor of Cameroon tobacco. Cameroon, crowned as the jewel of Africa, has captivated cigar aficionados with its rarity, complexity, and unmistakable character. The special release commemorates the visionary legacy of Stanford J. Newman, a second-generation cigar maker who, in 1965, pioneered the use of Cameroon tobacco in premium cigars. 60 years later, the El Baton Cameroon firecracker pays homage to his trailblazing spirit and the rich heritage of his unique tobacco. El Baton Cameroon firecracker started its journey at the renowned J.C. Newman Pensa factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. The limited edition cigar measures 3.5 inches by 50, features the firecracker's iconic fuse cap, first introduced in 2007. Blended with medium to full-bodied Nicaraguan tobacco grown from some of the most fertile soils in Nicaragua, the cigar will deliver a bold, complex experience that highlights the signature qualities of Cameroon tobacco and the unmistakable Nicaraguan punch. Cameroon tobacco, which actually reminds me of one other little thing, which you probably already know about, that I'm going to touch on before we wrap up the show.
I was going to say it's a big thing. I was almost going to wait until Coop was on Saturday.
Yeah, I think we should, but I'm going to mention it because I think it should at least be mentioned. But yeah, we're going to get into this on spare notes. But new firecracker coming out at United accounts and obviously at the number 2 guys cigars.com. So stay tuned for updates for when that goes on sale. Actually, there should be a date on here. What's the date? There's no sale date. Or it's like actually usually like you guys will do like a release. Is there a date on here? No. Just says shipping at the end of the month. Huh. Okay. Well, stay tuned. Yeah, I'm curious about this one. Coop has speculated that because there's no Cameroon El Baton, so Coop speculates that this is a test run for a full regular production release of a Cameroon El Baton. I got to give him credit because it was his idea. And it's a very good guess. I could see it happening. But yeah, speaking of Cameroon, Arturo Fuente and the Micallef family have ended their European distribution agreement. The Fuentes will now be handling their own European distribution. Jose Blanco has been appointed as kind of the point man over there. But yeah, that's an interesting one. Kind of a big story. It's no secret that the Fuentes and obviously the Newmans and a few other companies have strong ties to the Micallef family, most notably for their Cameroon tobacco, which any real cigar smoker knows about Micallef Cameroon versus other Cameroon. That's a whole discussion that we'll save. But regardless, I mean, the Micallefs have been, a symbol with Arturo Fuente, especially, and the Newmans, for the use of that tobacco. They buy a lot of it from them. So to see them end that, it's what happened here? Is there a falling out? Is it just, Arturo Fuente just trying to just spread their own wings and be a little bit more self-reliant? That story came out, and I remember seeing people online. Oh no, the Don Carlos cigar is gonna go away. What do we do? And I'm like, calm down. Let's not get too carried away right now. Like, people were like losing their minds. Like, oh, it's like, all right, like, this is a big story, but yeah, I think we'll probably really dive into it on Spare Notes. But yeah, I wanted to at least mention it, especially with that. That's an interesting one. And you actually sat down with Jeremiah Marifel recently.
Yeah, I mean, I probably was sitting with him like as it was happening because I mean the news came out like not like maybe a day or two after I was with him.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys talk about it?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
nothing was mentioned. I mean, like we talked about like distribution in Europe. So I mean, I have some points I can mention on the show, like what I think happened. It wasn't
Hmm.
anything he said, but just kind of inferring. But I mean, like the only thing I'll say quickly
Oh
on
no,
is
and Pat
everyone.
froze.
Am I so frozen?
You're kind of coming
Oh,
back now. You're kind of coming
no.
back. Make this point
The
quick, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, like everyone thinks that this is the end of like Fuente Cameroon, and I mean, if you know like Fuente and Marifel, like they have a good relationship. Like I'm sure this is something that didn't. I don't think they just went to a table and they're like, "Hey, starting tomorrow, we're done." You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
sure this is something, and frankly, Fuente wouldn't have just been able to snap their finger and have a distro in Europe. So this is something that's been planned for a pretty probably a substantial period of time, and I'm sure Marifel was aware that the distro was going to probably end soon through them because Fuente's gearing up to do it themselves. So I mean, this isn't it's big news in the sense of like because one of the big pillars of Marifel is the European distribution,
Right.
but I mean, there is some things that I do know, and like I'll kind of get like a green light if I can talk about it on the show. But I mean, there is stuff from the conversation that I actually would say that it may not have been Fuente that was maybe do. You know what I mean? I think it was a mutual like for both interests, but
I think for me and the conversations I've had with Carlito and other people at Toro Fuente, I could see how each of them are kind of like, you know what? We kind of each want to do our own thing. Fuente is a big company. Um, and I know that they've been expanding their global presence. And my takeaway is that they're just trying to be more self-independent as they continue to grow globally. And I think that's fine. I think that's healthy for a business that, not have to rely. And again, not that the Mirafels didn't do a good job or this and that. It's just like, hey, we're getting bigger and we just want to control it ourselves. I mean, that's fine. And the Mirafels, now they're making cigars, um, and not just being tobacco, growers and suppliers. They're coming out with their own stuff. They've already had a distribution network, and they might be looking at like, hey, we want to focus our channels on our own stuff right now, just because I think it kind of makes sense for us. That's on the surface. That's just my takeaway. Um, I don't know a lot of specific answers to those questions from the horse's mouth, and
I'm gonna talk to Reinhard before the next spare notes. I don't know when we're doing it again, but I'll see how much I can go into.
I think
But
we're
I
gonna
think
try to do it this weekend.
okay. Well, I'll see. I mean, I had a side conversation. I kind of teased last week with Marifel as well. Like just a good conversation Jeremiah and I had that I wanted to kind of. It goes to the tablecloth event discussion we had like a month ago. So I have a lot of interesting points from that meeting, and I'll see how much of specifically pertaining to this news report here, how much I can get into with that. Because
Right.
I can tell you, I feel like I if what I if that's correct, I can what happened, but
Well, before we completely lose you, we're gonna wrap up the show there. Um, Guys, thanks for being here with us tonight. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us, taking time out of your out of your day, your night to be with us and watch. If you're not with us now, thanks for listening to us or watching us later on our YouTube channel and everywhere you can get your podcasts on all of the podcast apps. We'll be back for Spare Notes. I think this weekend. I have to double check with Coop, but I'm pretty sure he said this weekend was good. So we'll have a lot to talk about there. And in the meantime, head to SmokinTabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry.